Hello everyone and welcome to another video. This time we're going to be going to Leeds. I've done quite a few videos on Bradford, so I'm decided to try and cater for other people in surrounding areas as well, but don't worry, I shall still do some Bradford ones as well. Today we're going to be looking at something that used to be opposite the bus station in Leeds, and that was the Quarry Hill Flats. That the working class needed rehousing was in no doubt. In Leeds, then the fifth largest city in England, possessed 78,000 back-to-backs in 1914. And while back-to-back housing had been outlawed by national legislation in 1909, a technicality that plans for further back-to-back housing were already in place, allowed new back-to-backs to be built in Leeds into the 1930s. Little had been done to tackle the problem in the 1920s, and a 1932 council report concluded 33,500 houses should be demolished. The inaction of the Conservative majority infuriated the Labour opposition, and in particular the most vivacious member, the Reverend Charles Jenkinson, Vicar of Holbeck, and since 1930 is Labour ward councillor too. Labour produced a minority report which called for the clearance of 16,000 houses by 1938 and a further 30,000 by 1948. Labour's radicalism secured it victory in the local elections of November 1933. Jenkinson became Chair of Housing and proposed the clearance of 3,000 houses in the first year, 5,000 in the second, and 5,500 in each of the following 4 years. 30,000 new homes were to be constructed at the cost of £12 million. Most of the new homes were to be in garden suburbs, large estates on the fringes of the city. Jenkinson believed, as did most Labour activists of the day, that the cottage home is the best dwelling for the normal English family. But the need to rehouse the slum population was pressing. Multi-storey flats seemed an inescapable solution. Furthermore, the redevelopment of Quarry Hill, in an area containing some of the worst housing in Leeds, less than 1 mile from the city centre, tackled some of the particular problems that bedevilled the garden suburbs. Their distance from the city centre and local employment, the high transportation costs that followed, and more intangibly, a loss of community that ensued. The Director of Housing, Rath Livett, appointed by the incoming Labour administration in 1934, had pioneered a smaller flattened scheme in Manchester and was a strong advocate of flats. Together, Jenkinson and Livett determined to create something special, and they did so. Quarry Hill was one interwar scheme which came into matching scale and ambition of the workers' housing in Vienna that excited so many contemporary modernists and enthused local councillors who were eager for housing solutions which matched the scale of housing problems. A delegation from Leeds had visited Vienna in 1932 and had been much impressed by the Karl Marx Hof Red Vienna showpiece. It, and other similar continental projects, seem to offer scale, economy and community, class consciousness with convenience to some, to others simply modern housing that dignified working class lives. The Quarry Hill scheme contained 938 flats housing around 3,000 people in 7 and 8-storey blocks set in 36 acres of inner city land. It would also include a community hall, seating 520, with stage and dressing rooms, 20 shops, indoor and outdoor swimming pools and a wading pool, extensive courtyards, gardens and play areas, a nursery and communal laundry and even a mortuary. Anything else? The flats themselves contained a living room, scullery and bathroom and between 1 and 5 bedrooms. Each had a balcony and a window box. China cupboards, airing cupboards, fitted wardrobes, baking ovens were included, and all flats had electric lighting. As one early tenant recalls, where I lived in Horsforth, we only had an outside toilet and no bathroom, so the flat seemed really posh. Get her. Another innovation lay in the arrangements for waste disposal. The Quarry system, taken from France, saw domestic refuse placed in a container under the sink and flushed by wastewater to a central incinerator which, it was originally planned, would heat the swimming pools. The blocks also contain lifts, 88 in all, the first municipal scheme in the country to have them. Finally, the flats were pioneering in their prefabricated method of construction. In a further borrowing from France, they were built using the moping system, using a light steel frame and precast concrete units manufactured on site. This eliminated the need for brickwork and plastering and would, it was thought, bring big savings in the costs of materials and skilled labour. As already mentioned, building began in 1934 and the first tenants moved in 1938, but 40 years later the entire development was bulldozed. So what went wrong? Well, the moping system was a failure. Production line jams and a shortage of the sort of skills the system did require meant production overruns and much higher costs than anticipated. Building dragged on to 1941, and in the long term, structural defects, corrosion in the steelwork, concrete slabs working loose necessitated costly ongoing repairs. The waste disposal system was also riddled with problems, blockages, leaks and smells. Yuck. Surprise, surprise, this was all particularly problematic as savings in construction costs were vital to finance the social facilities held vital to the scheme's overall success. Normal housing subsidies would cover only basic building costs. The concert hall was never built, and many of the other planned amenities, the swimming pools, tennis courts and nursery for example, failed to materialise and few shops opened. What emerged was a pale shadow of the original dream. Even the window boxes were sabotaged by the harsh Yorkshire climate. Later planning mistakes did not help. Quarry Hill became a classic example of an island estate, geographically cut off and socially isolated. Encircling main roads and the perimeter blocks, somewhat forbidding through undeniably impressive, according to Pevsner, created a fortress-like appearance which intimidated non-residents. Now looking on the other side, what is there to defend? The challenge to these criticisms lies most powerfully in the strong attachment of the many of the older residents and their desolation when the estate was demolished. Many of the people who lived in the flats loved them. Children in particular seem to love the flats and the opportunities for company and play. And that, of course, sounds like a golden past viewed through rose-tinted spectacles. But the testimony is overwhelming and is backed up by the historical record of tenants' associations second to none in its energy, with 2/3 of the residents' members at peak. For all the failures, something worked here. People were moved from the slums and rehoused in better conditions than they had ever known and could ever have expected. A close-knit community developed which took pride in its environs, whilst fully conscious and actively critical of its shortfalls. The council took the decision to demolish the estate in 1973. A couple of decades later, the estate would surely have been listed. More importantly, it might then have been fully renovated in ways that captured the original vision but adapted it to changing times. And that concludes my video on the Quarry Hill Flats. Now, I'm sure there will be people who lived in the flats and had memories of the flats that may differ in opinion. in regards to what was expressed in obviously the article I researched. These are not my views. Obviously they were demolished before I was even born. However, I would be extremely interested to hear from anyone who lived in these flats, their thoughts, their memories. I'd like to get a really good conversation going, because it has taken me absolutely ages to find anything on these flats, and I wanted to do something for absolutely ages in regards to it. So please do comment below in regards to your memories of these flats, and do please remember to like, share and subscribe to my channel, Andy to Know, or at History of the North. As always, I'm open to suggestions in regards to what sort of videos to do. If you live in Leeds and you think that you've not seen a video or anything that you would like to see, then please do drop a comment and I'll do my best to research it. Alternatively, you could live on the outskirts of Leeds, or you could just live anywhere in the UK and say, look, this is a really interesting thing for you to research. Can you do a video on it? Because nobody's done so, and I will do my damn best to do it. I would just like to point out that the images in this video were taken from Leodis. Now, this is the photographic archive of the Leeds Library and Information Service, and it provides many further images and much supporting detail, as well as a very useful web page dedicated to the history of the estate. So if you do actually want to see more in regards to the estate, plus loads of other memories in regards to Leeds, please do visit leodis.net. That's leodis.net. And you will find plenty of stuff there to keep you happy, in my opinion. And until my next video, please remember to like, share, subscribe. If you know anybody who'll be interested in this video, or any Leeds groups anywhere, Leeds, any Leeds Facebook groups or anything that would be interested in this video being shared on there to spread the word in regards to the history of Leeds and that, then please do let people know about it. I will stop wittering on. We're coming up to 13 minutes. Unlucky for some. Take care. Thank you for your support. And until the next video, take care of yourselves.